Imagine if a simple change in winter vacation plans by millions could spark a regional economic crisis. A routine decision to avoid crossing a border for shopping or escaping the cold ends up emptying hotels, shuttering restaurants, and silencing entire towns. This isn't an exaggeration, it's happening right now in the United States. For decades, Canadian tourists were a reliable lifeline for hundreds of southern, eastern, and western communities, sustaining family businesses, local festivals, seasonal jobs, and even municipal budgets. But in 2025, something shifted. The hardest-hit states are at the end. Let's begin. 10. Florida. Florida wakes to an absent hum. The RV engines that once roared at dawn now sit silent. In 2024, 3 million Canadian travelers arrived, their suitcases brimming, seeking eternal sun, and leaving $4 billion in hotels, golf courses, and marinas. That northern chatter vanished in a single season. It began with rhetoric drawing borders where only highways existed, and laws whispering suspicion at customs. The U.S. dollar strengthened, the Canadian dollar weakened, and every piña colada suddenly demanded extra effort. Travel forums in Montreal and Winnipeg urged trips to Tulum or Madeira. Trust shattered like salted glass. The blow echoes in Fort Lauderdale, where awnings fold at dusk. In Naples, folding chairs await guests who never arrive. In Sarasota, fairgrounds light up empty avenues. Airlines cancel direct routes, and booking agencies flaunt impossible discounts. Vacation rentals with waiting lists now offer a free month. By the way, we've created the only travel guide compiling proven strategies to optimize your budget, manage visas, explore residency options, and seize job and cultural opportunities abroad. With 7 volumes packed with practical tips across nearly 400 pages, it costs less than a Starbucks coffee. Hurry, as the price will more than double soon. Check the community post for details, with the link below. The human toll pulses beneath each lowered shutter. Waiters who doubled shifts now chase gig delivery jobs. Manatee guides more boats and scroll social media, guessing when the flow might return. Small inn owners, heirs to grandparents' southern dreams, sell surfboards to pay staff. State authorities respond with campaigns of golden sunsets, courtesy pledges, and tax breaks. They buy French-language ads, host Toronto winter fairs, and beg for diplomatic cooperation. But every press conference ends with the unanswered question, will the northern neighbors return, or have they taken an irreplaceable piece of Florida's tourism identity? As the Atlantic repeats its waves, uncertainty rises like a nocturnal tide. 9. California always sold a dream of luminous highways, rolling vineyards, and cliffs where the Pacific mirrors the sky. For many Canadians, this dream was a tradition. Each year, 200,000 families flew in, chasing perfect microclimates and gourmet experiences. Their spending doubled that of other international visitors, sustaining hotel chains, wine guides, and surf tours. In 2025, the arrivals lane is nearly empty. The weakened Canadian dollar made every San Francisco espresso a provocation. Political tensions painted headlines of bans, snap raids, and fiery rhetoric that, though aimed elsewhere, echoed in Vancouver and Calgary. Tourists felt like outsiders before booking. The signs pile up in ledgers. Napa Valley boutique hotels show vacancies in autumn, when vineyard leaves rival fire. San Diego, reliant on gray whale season crowds, sees boats depart half full. Airlines cut frequencies, and fuel prices did the rest. Behind the numbers are faces. Sommeliers teaching French wine tastings now sell bulk inventory. Limousine drivers shorten shifts and return leased vehicles. Chefs crafting bilingual wedding menus close shifts. Tips dwindle, shrinking dreams of those banking on discreet luxury. Coastal towns feel the hit in their coffers. Fewer occupancy taxes mean fewer cultural scholarships and park program cuts. Carmel's streets show dim shopfronts and early sale signs. Artisanal markets, once selling pottery to northern day trippers, rely on local buyers with tight budgets. 8. Nevada. Nevada was a nocturnal magnet, drawing Canadians like moths to an unblinking neon glow. In 2024, 1.7 million northern visitors fueled Las Vegas's luminous pulse, flocking for long weekends, gambling, shows, and generous tips that sustained receptionists, dealers, and servers. Today, the desert echoes with an unexpected void. A silent boycott took hold. Online forums vowed to shun U.S. soil while hostile rhetoric persisted. Canadian Airlines canceled direct flights from Edmonton and Ottawa. Entertainment dollars shifted to domestic spots like Niagara Falls View or Riviera Maya resorts where the Canadian dollar stretches further. The numbers spell freefall. Strip hotel occupancy dropped from 90% to 50% during peak season. Fine dining restaurants, used to weeks-long reservations, offer half-price fixed menus. Casinos report 20% lower revenue and cut poker tournaments. Shows reduce performances, leaving dancers jobless. Beyond the neon, the wound reaches the community. Uber drivers with new licenses park cars, unable to cover monthly payments. Laundry workers handle fewer sheets, losing paid hours. Families renting vacation apartments face unaffordable mortgages. The urban landscape cracks. Discount signs flicker over half-empty sidewalks. Choreographed fountains perform for sparse crowds filming without lines. Convention centers host half-built exhibits. The state government scrambles with urgency. 7. New York. Upstate New York, crisscrossed by lakes mirroring endless forests, once pulsed with thousands of maple leaf license plates. Weekend getaways from Ontario and Quebec kept family motels, lakeside cabins, and roadside diners alive. In some counties, half of tourism revenue came from this neighbor. In 2025, the carousel stopped. A harsh exchange rate, costly tolls, and diplomatic fatigue over border issues sowed doubts. Canadians questioned whether filling tanks, paying tolls, and facing stricter checks was worth it. Travel forums pushed the Laurentians, or Charlevoix, bypassing Lake George and U.S. Niagara Falls. The impact manifests as cancellations. Rural inns shutter, restaurants close early, and shops lay off staff before Thanksgiving. Bars with sepia photos of Canadian anglers see empty stools. Artisans banking on birchwood carvings watch inventory pile up. Stories abound. Lisa, running a 3-room B&B, rents one long-term to survive. Mark, a rafting guide, drives delivery trucks part-time. Hardware stores cut fishing gear stock as tourists vanish. Border towns transform. Currency exchange signs go dark. Vast parking lots collect leaves without tire marks. And farm fairs close early, losing half their crowd. The governor unveiled a recovery plan with tax credits for job-retaining businesses, small hotel subsidies, and a hospitality campaign. Toll reductions and deals with Canadian travel platforms are in talks. But doubt lingers over the Adirondacks. Will drivers return with coolers each Friday? Counties project a $20 million deficit, eyeing Sunday library closures. Crimson forests and empty docks confirm the absence, each mapleless Saturday heralding a long economic winter. 6. Texas. Texas always blended rodeo grit with tech vanguards, luring over 1 million Canadians annually. In 2024, they flocked to Houston, Austin, and San Antonio for brisket and live music. In 2025, that flow collapsed. Political narratives dominated. Tough immigration laws and ultra-conservative rhetoric prompted many Northerners to boycott. A weak Canadian dollar and Mexico's similar climates completed the perfect storm. The blow permeates. Houston reports 20% fewer hotel bookings. Austin's concert venues sit half-empty, and San Antonio's Riverwalk echoes with silent corridors. Car rentals shrink fleets. Airports hold more parked vehicles than springtime travelers. Rural areas bleed visibly. Alberta-plated RV parks offer free plots. Highway 35 cafes see empty tables. Community festivals lose sponsors, scaling back stages. Behind the stats are names. Dolores, a Brownsville waitress, lost 2 shifts and sells tamales online. Kevin, a Gulf Coast fishing guide, sold his second boat to cover his mortgage. Students funding tuition with downtown country gigs take lower-paying remote jobs. The governor launched Welcome to Texas Kind, offering lodging discounts and cultural passes. Airline fare deals and sales tax refunds for foreign tourists are proposed. But can a state with 600,000 leisure-linked jobs survive a boycott blending ideology and economics? 5. Michigan. Michigan gazes at Lake Superior with nostalgia. For decades, Sault Ste. Marie and Port Huron thrived on Canadian cars packed with shoppers, anglers, and families seeking quick getaways, accounting for 30% of local tourism income. In 2025, the border feels like a chalk line, easily erased but devoid of crossings. Crossings grew cumbersome, the U.S. dollar climbed, the Canadian dollar fell, and prices lost competitiveness. Tolls, digital paperwork, and European destinations with better euro value deterred travelers. The drop shows in numbers. Motels cut staff and close weekdays. Outlet stores selling discounted clothes and electronics see empty aisles. Border gas stations report 20% lower sales, slashing night shifts. Families running generational lakefront diners cut hours and mortgage homes. Bait sellers stock unsold goods. Students relying on tourist tips defer college semesters. The landscape shifts. Weekend congested streets are clear. Packed lots crack without traffic. Closure signs mask client shortages. Authorities seek state aid and push hesitant domestic tourism campaigns, offering gas vouchers and Great Lakes cruise deals. These feel like patches. 4. Washington, with pines edging the Pacific and snow-capped peaks, relied on near-daily cross-border rituals. Over 3 million Canadians crossed yearly via Peace Arch and Sumas, filling carts, refueling, and savoring fresh coastal oysters. In 2025, the border is oddly clear. Traffic plummeted as the Canadian dollar weakened and border fees rose. E-commerce offered similar discounts without crossing, and political discomfort in a less welcoming U.S. deterred trips. Bellingham, a Northwest shopping hub, reports 30% retail sales drops. I-5 gas stations cut shifts. Coastal farmers markets compost unsold produce or sell at token prices. Laura, a Harbor View cafe owner, fired half her baristas. Mark, a clam fisherman, cuts trips for lack of demand. Food bank lines grow with laid-off retail workers. Urban landscapes reflect the wound. Malls close wings behind ad screens. Heavy traffic hums fade. Avenues see traffic lights change for no one. Stimulus packages, domestic tourism pushes, and sports events aim to draw locals. A tax-free shopping corridor with British Columbia is proposed, but legislation lags. The question looms over Puget Sound. Will shoppers return with empty trunks? Mayors warn of $70 million in lost sales taxes, threatening library hours and youth centers. Ferries sail with empty seats, and smoked salmon stands douse flames by noon. 3. Arizona. Arizona doubled its winter population with retirees chasing clear skies and endless golf, many from Canada. In 2024, nearly 800,000 Canadians fueled billions in long-term rentals and daily spending. This year, the desert rings hollow. Younger generations favor domestic or Mexican beaches with bilingual health care. Extreme weather perceptions and political tensions deter long stays. A demographic void grips December to March. RV parks have unprecedented vacancies. Yuma restaurants offer 50% off menus to no avail. Mesa's southwestern craft shops cut hours. Sedona and Tucson's spiritual retreats see half-booked calendars. Brenda, a retired nurse turned Airbnb host, slashes prices amid cancellations. Walter, a silver artisan, sells at cost to keep lights on. Clinics downsize seasonal staff. Pastel subdivisions gleam with closed blinds. Golf carts sit idle. Supermarkets stock less, leaving shelf gaps. Tax breaks for long-stay visitors. temporary health visas, and airline promotions aim to recover. But the question lingers with each red sunset. 2. Maine, with centuries-old lighthouses and pine-scented air, thrived on Canadians crossing from Quebec and New Brunswick. In summer 2024, Bar Harbor's tables overflowed with French laughter. A year later, the bay reflects more sky than tour boats. Higher crossing costs, added requirements, and political unease halted spontaneous trips. Travel blogs push cheaper, closer Nova Scotia. Coastal inns see drastic guest drops. Lobster shacks cut August shifts. Souvenir shops clear shelves mid-season. Campgrounds sit half full. Boat owners take personal loans. Kayak guides seek factory jobs. Seasonal towns fear collapse without summer's brief boom. Main streets show for sale signs. Lobster boil scents fade fast. Blueberry ice cream lines vanish. No robust state plan exists. Talk of tax incentives and regional airline promotions falters. Time races. Will the Canadian wave crash on these rocks again? Economists predict a $700 million loss, threatening volunteer fire funds and school routes. Celtic music festivals cancel without foreign sponsors, and hoteliers study French, fearing a barren season. 1. South Carolina. South Carolina found in Canadian tourists a coastal identity pillar. Myrtle Beach bloomed each spring with red and white umbrellas. In 2024, they drove nearly half of vacation rentals. In 2025, the boardwalk is an empty echo. Political fears from immigration debates, better Caribbean value, and social media-driven group cancellations struck hard. Activity fell 50% from last year. Hotels offer steep discounts to no avail. Beachfront restaurants serve half their tables. Souvenir shops and arcades idle. Staff sorting stock. Maria, a crab shack chef, works only weekends. Khalil, a surf shop owner, sells gear online to pay rent. Seasonal workers leave early. Wooden boardwalks creak under sparse steps. Cotton candy scents fade without crowds. Saturday fireworks shorten to save funds. A 10% tourist spending rebate app and a Quebec artist fall music festival aim to recover, but the ghostly season left scars. The council projects a $150 million tax loss, delaying boardwalk upgrades and sports scholarships. Minigolf and fishing offer discounts to survive. Without 70,000 Canadians, the festival faces cancellation. Condos list for sale amid defaults. Charter flights and Halifax partnerships are discussed, but each reservation-less week deepens fears that Myrtle Beach is trapped in a visitorless summer.